Oh, hopefully this works. I did an hour video the other day, an hour it went for, and it didn't record any sound. So I've just checked it. I just did the 20-second recording and it's working, so it should work. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Maybe I've got to try it without the internet hooked up, so I don't know, see if they're messing with me or something. But we've got the old world stuff. I would figure I'll get off the melt for a bit just because we've got to. People aren't seeing it, and I'm just thinking if I go back to the way I sort of come into it, which was seeing the old world first. Like these buildings are old world. Like we call them old world because they're from before this. They say they're 1800s. That's what they'll say. 1800s or some might be 1900s, but all these type of buildings, they'll say 1800s. So you got to think. Like we start off. Well, it's horse and buggy time because there's no cars and there's no trucks. Horse and buggy. So you're building buildings like these, horse and buggy. Like how much is a buggy going to take? Like a cart of a horse. I mean a horse and cart. Like how much is that cart going to carry? Like a pile of bricks, a pallet of bricks is like I don't know if they're a ton, but I don't know. I don't know what they weigh, but pallet of bricks, like I don't think a cart would take a whole pallet of bricks. I really don't. And these, you can't see it, but like, see up here. I'll zoom in. See up here, you got this covering. Like that's all facade. That's a concrete. It'll be about an inch thick, give or take an inch. And underneath that will be red brick. All of this is red brick. All of it. All of it. All of it. Except for the concrete facade mouldings that are on the outside. All these bits. But they could be probably brick on the inside, like, cause it's crazy. But the old world, like, you got to start from the start and go, okay. So you got the cart. Like before it even can carry anything, it needs to move. It needs wheel bearings. Like it needs an axle. It's not just all. You can't make wheel bearings in a blacksmith. You can't. You just can't. It doesn't happen. No, no. And you can't. You can't just like panel beat out some blacksmith out some bearings. It just doesn't work. Like you need perfectly round ball bearings. So you need a press. You need a CNC machine or you need a lathe or something. Like I don't know exactly how they make it. I'd say they're pressed, but you need the exact right steel. Like they'd have, like they're stainless. A lot of them. I think all of them are stainless, but it's hardened to a certain point too, so they last. And like so you got to go. Oh, so they needed the steel, and they needed machinery. Like, but before that, and we'll go. Okay, so they need the steel, so they needed to be able to mine, because you've got to mine out the iron ore and all the other stuff that you chuck with it to make metal. So you got, alright, well, how'd they mine? Well, theoretically, they need machinery, don't they? But before that, we'll go, they had picks and axes. Pickaxes and shovels. Alright? So they need steel. Like, to have a pickaxe, even copper, when they say that the primitive people had copper chisels and all this, and that's what they carved out these caves with. It was all copper chisels and stick stones and bones. Like where the copper come from? Where they can't just like make copper out of nothing. You got to get it all out of the ground. You got to put it through a foundry, and you got to cook it all together, melt it all together. Oh, come off it! And you got So you got that. So, what? Just to make a pickaxe, you need the steel. So to get the steel, you need the mine. So you need the mine before you can get the steel, but you can't get the mine before you got the steel. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you got to start to weigh it up in your head and think about this, because what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, that's an answerable question. The thought came first, and this is answerable too, because it was all a manifestation. But I won't go into that yet. I'll keep it simple. Like, just think, like, how did they mine for steel, for all the minerals and all the stuff they use to create steel? How did they mine for it before they had steel? They, and how did they know what to find? Like, how did they know what was going to melt with what? Like, it would have taken like forever just to figure out what's going to. They would have had to have massive mines that they've dug out of with bones to start with, bones and sticks. Bones are stronger than sticks, so they would have used bones if they could. And they've what? You're telling me they've started with bones and made these massive mines and stuff, enough to start making steel, and then they've figured out, oh, if we get these two bits of dirt and we'll shove this into a pot and we'll put it over a fire, like, just to have a furnace, like a proper foundry, you need to get hot temperatures, like really, really hot. Like, to do it these days, even if you do it at home yourself, you need like an air compressor for air to get it blowing, like to really blow some air on the fire, get it hot as, or you need like oil dripping into it. So you've got, like, so the oil heats up the fire more, and you get your steel really, really red hot. But to do that, you need steel. Like, you need a cup to put all the metal in that's going to be even tougher, like hardened steel, so it doesn't melt at the same degree, like, because otherwise, so you need the steel just to be able to melt the steel, like it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't work. And then you got all these, like, all of it, like, so you need power. Really, you need machinery and you need power. So where'd the power come from? All right, so we had nothing, and then in the 1800s, all of a sudden they invent everything, but they got the power, so it's like, all right, well, now they need like power plants, now they need power lines, and they need the poles. So you got those massive poles. Imagine one telephone graph pole on a horse and cart. Just one. That's just a pole. Like, imagine one pole, timber pole, even just an old piece of tree, one solid tree that's as tall as a power line. Imagine one of them on a horse and cart. You'd need like a massive cart. Like, it'd have to be like huge. Yeah, what, probably 4 or 5 meters tall. A power pole, at least. And it just, like, it doesn't end. And then you got the train tracks. Like, and Tobias has done all the calculations on this on ChatGPT. Like, he's typed in like buildings and he's put it all in, and he's gone over it and over it and over it. So it's all calculated, each building, and it's calculated what was needed. And he's figured out that there wasn't enough steel production out of the whole entire world just to be able to run America's train tracks. Just the train tracks alone, just that, there wasn't even enough steel getting produced in the 1800s just to run America's train lines. And then you got Australia's train lines, and then you got all the steel cable for all the power, because that all happens at the same time. It's all in the 1800s. It's all got to, and he does it from, I think, 1850 to 1900, and so in that 50 years, like, it's crazy. Like, he's done the bricks. Like, how many bricks do you need to build these buildings? Because these are all brick. Like, it's a lot of bricks per building. Like, it's fucking a lot of bricks. And he worked out something like 56 billion bricks that aren't accounted for. Like, they couldn't have produced that many. They just couldn't have done it. And it's crazy. Like, when you start to think about this stuff, it's like, wow, there's no way. And like, these buildings, look how massive they are. And these were built in the 1800s when it was horse and buggy. Like, not that they could have done it, because where did the steel come from? Where did the bearings come from? Where did, man, they reset us, and they gave us horse and buggy to make us, to put us back primitive times, and they make us feel like we're evolving now. Like, we are so far behind what we should be doing as a people, as a collective. Our talent should be like off the charts, because we should be getting better and better and better and better and better and better and better. Like they say we are. We should be advancing like crazy. But look at this architecture. Like, look at this. Look at the detail in all this stuff. Like, look at all that. Like, this is nothing. This building. This is pretty plain. Like, that's pretty plain too. But like, look at that. Like, and you'd be like, oh, look at the pools. Look at it all. It's all brand new. Like, it's all new. Like, man, it could be, like, because I don't look up the narratives anymore. I don't even bother. Like, I'm gonna do Melbourne, and when I do, because I'm gonna take photos myself. So when I do, I'll probably look up each building and find out when it was built and do all the stuff on it. But like, I just know that they're gonna say 1800s, and like, there's no way. Like, imagine just carrying like one of these concrete columns on a horse and buggy, just one, and you got what? Just in there, you got four, and like you got like all this, all of it. Like, imagine, like, even this concrete facading, like, it's, even if that's just smeared on by hand and rendered, that's like to render this whole house. Not that it's rendered, it's facade, it's concrete facade about an inch thick, but not, if you rendered this house, like, or this building, this palace, how many how many bags of render would you go through? Like, so you got, man, you're talking like, just to build one building, you got like 1,000,000 trips of a horse and buggy carrying carry like 20 bags at a time, and then it's got to get all the way from Melbourne to Ballarat, or like I can't say another country, but like, it's got to get like 100 kilometres maybe, depending on where it's going, or depending on what it's doing. You can't, like, it's not like everywhere had a place that created render, that manufactured render. Like, but you got all the factories. Like, where do they come from? And the glass and all this intricate gold work. Like, look, like, how could they do this stuff then, when we can't even do it now? Like, we can't build like this. There's no way. This is all intricate. This will be gold too. Like, it could be just gold plating, but I almost guarantee it'll be solid gold. Like, that's just the way the old world was. Like, look at these. Like, and this is just what I found just yesterday. Like, I've got more on my computer, but like, this is just a whole heap of stuff I found that it's just blows me away, because I thought of doing this video, and I've already used the other ones I've got in another video that I'm making, documentary style, which I'm starting to wonder if it's even worth it, because this is basically a documentary anyway. Like, you gotta weigh it up. You gotta, like, imagine all this. Imagine building this in the 1800s. Imagine all the materials needed, all the glass, and where did all that come from, and where did all the roofing and just everything, all the concrete for all this concrete pad here and stuff, and you got the whole road that comes in and goes round, and just everything. Like, there's like, imagine a concrete truck. One truck, you might get that patch there done, and that's one truck. That's a big cement truck. Like, imagine how many, like, they're gonna have to mix cement on site. It's all going to have to be done on site, because there's no trucks, there's only horse and buggy, so you can't, it's not like they had a cement roller on the back of a horse and cart. So all this concrete was mixed on site. Like, had to have been, unless it was done a different way and they're not telling us something. Like, pretty sure that's how it is. I'm not even pretty sure, it's a guarantee, because where did the steel come from? Can't mine for steel without steel. You just can't. You can't mine for steel without steel. It's that simple. Like, you need it. Like, this place was manifested. These buildings are from creation. They're from when this world was created. When our Creator created us, He created all this building. And you got the star forts. I don't know if you've seen them, but I've got a video on my YouTube that you'll see on my channel, the star forts, and I've got a heap more, so I could do another one. But it just, look at these buildings, look at that, like, how many, like, a horse and buggy, that's people there, so you got a horse and buggies like that big, and then you got a horse on the front. You got to think, before all this was all concreted, it was like it had to get up here through all the dirt and all the mud before it had roads, and it had to come 100 kilometres from the city to, or wherever, whichever suburb had the factory that had all the whatever you want to think about, all the, like, you've seen inside, it's inside and out. These places are off their head, inside and out. And there is no possible chance it was done in the 1800s. It was done beforehand. It was done, like, that's just a story. It's his story. They created a bullshit fake history and gave us all this narrative and all this nonsense, and we grew up believing it because they teach us when we're a kid, and we don't think anything of it. We just think, oh yeah, of course they're telling us the truth. We go to school, that's teachers, of course it's going to be the truth, and we never think about it. But you start thinking about this stuff now, like, with what I've just said, you should be going, gee whiz, like, that's pretty full on. You should be at least thinking about it. You should be like, oh, look at this. Look, there's a person there. So what? You over here, you got a person. Oh, go away. Got a person, say this height. So that's like a metre, 2 metres, 3 metres, 4 metres. So just to the tip of here is a 5 metre thing, 5 metre column. And so you got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So to the top of this is at least 20 metres high. To the top of this dome. And that one, that's massive. These places were grand, majestic. Just like, you've got all different designs and all different, like, all of them. They're all their own unique design, but they've all got the same architecture. You can just pick it. Like, the old world stuff is just, once you see this, you just know. And you go to, say, Melbourne, if that's where I am, so that's just where I can say, like, because I haven't been to other cities yet, but I just know that every city in the world, every city has old world buildings. Doesn't matter which one you go to. Every single city has old world buildings. They're all like these. Like, you got your government houses and stuff, and you got all these, the town halls and all these old world buildings, which we've always taken for granted, never really thought much of. And like, but once you actually start seeing this stuff, and you actually go and look at them, you're like, wow. Like, just look at the detailing. It's mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. And like, it's just nuts. There's no way these were built with horse and buggy, and like, over in Australia we got convicts. It was all convict. What? And they built these fucking buildings. Like, are you kidding me? This is masterclass stuff. This is perfection. Like, imagine this. We're talking the outside, but you got this as well. Inset roofs and stuff, and all different, and all the lighting everywhere, and like, all of it. Look at all the detail everywhere. Imagine, like, just to do this one room would take a year. This floor is probably mosaic floor. Like, it's probably all tiny little tiles, all all put together to make out this pattern. Like I've seen heaps of them in Melbourne, and they're mosaic floors. Like they're off. They're like little tiny pieces as big as your fingernail, all mosaicked out on the floor to create the floor, and it's off its head. It's just crazy. These buildings are mind blowing. And it's like it's proved that they're worldwide. Every single country, every single city has old world buildings. Every single one. It just doesn't end. It just doesn't end. Like in all this is all old world. All of it. All the fountains and everything was all. This is all before 1800s. It was all done. Like one way you can tell it's old world is all these chimneys. Like, and they won't even be fireplaces. They could be for fireplaces, but the fireplaces weren't used as fire. Originally, it was like, no, that I'm still not 100% on all the technology they had, but it was either etheric energy or the energy came from the ground. We know that it came from the ground because of meltology, but it seems they still had these chimneys which drew power from the ether or something. Maybe the power from the ground was earth, and you still needed ether. Maybe you needed both to be able to run power. Maybe it's like a positive charge in the air and there's a negative charge in the earth. Something along them lines. Like I've never thought about that, but it could be. Needed the both of them to make it work. Because energy definitely comes from below. Because in meltology, you see the melt comes from the bottom. It's crazy. But I won't talk about melt much, because I'm just trying to, like these buildings, that is the type of building you'll see in the city, like in all your cities. And there'll be government buildings, there'll be council buildings, there'll be stuff like that. And they're everywhere. They're in every city. And like worldwide. Like you go to Japan and you'll have a building like this. And it's like, what? That doesn't make sense. Like, not compared to what we've always known. Like, why are they going to have Roman columns and stuff in a building in Japan that was built in the 1800s? Like, yeah, nah. It's not going to happen. It proves that we were one civilization. Like, the buildings are worldwide, and we were one civilization. It was all manifested. This place was a kingdom to start with. From the creation, from the get-go, this place was a grand, majestic kingdom. Like fairy tale books they don't even show it for as good as it was. Like this place was absolutely epic. Massive adventure playground for everyone to enjoy. Like free for all. That's how it was. It wasn't. There was no currency. There was no nothing. It was free for all, and it was take what you need to live your best life possible. Like you were born here into this creation. You have a birthright to take whatever you need. Like look at these joints. Like it's crazy. They don't end. Like they're all over the world. All over the joint. Like I'm looking around Melbourne and I'm starting. Like I keep finding them online, but even when I'm driving and stuff, out and about, and I'm just finding more and more. Like they're just like massive mansions, but still they're old world. They're like the rest of the suburb might not have been there, but that building was definitely there. It was definitely there when they say they founded Australia. Like it's all nonsense. Like we needed steel to be able to mine for steel. Like it's just that simple. You need a pickaxe or something. And like as we went through, like how do you melt it down? You need to melt steel in a steel cup or a steel bowl or something. So you need quality steel. Like it's harder and it has a like a less of a melting point, like a higher melting point, to be able to melt, like even just melting lead, like it's hard enough. I can look at, like, because you can imagine the whole inside. Some of these buildings, how big they are, and the whole inside is all like this. And just that candelabra, like doing that in the 1800s. Are you kidding me? How could they do all that with the glass and make, or it's all crystal or whatever it is? Like how could they make something like that in the 1800s without power? Or was it when they just first originated power and all of a sudden, bang, they're smashing out candelabras? You know, like that's just because everything comes in the 1800s. It's just like everything. Like we had nothing. We went thousands of years with nothing, and then all of a sudden 1800 comes and boom, it all just comes. Like just after they've just founded Australia and America, and then all 50 years later they start having some thoughts on, and they're creating some stuff, and next thing it's just like bang, 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 and everything's just invented all in like 50, 60 years. Well, 100 years from 1800 to 1900, it all just gets invented. Like we had nothing, and then all of a sudden it's just everything, all in just 100 years. So we go thousands of years with nothing, and then 100 years, and we got everything. And then, like, what have we really got since? Like, oh, what? They give us the TV, they give us the phone, but all that stuff existed. Like, you could imagine, like, when these buildings were built in the 1800s, how did they communicate? Like, how could they ring the floor tile guy that was 100 kilometers away to say I need like a lot of meters, square meters, like thousands of square meters of this certain tile to be able to do my massive building that I'm building. And he's like, yep. Like, so what? You send your pigeon, and your pigeon flies over all the way over to 100 kilometers away or more, and he that takes a few days for the pigeon to get there, and then he sends the pigeon back, and the pigeon comes back, and it's like, yep, got your order, and it's like, all right. So now they start delivering, and like they bring like enough to do like 20 square meters, and you got thousands and thousands of square meters of floor to do. So you got one. So it takes him a week to get 100 kilometres on a horse and cart through the mud, through no roads, no bitumen, no concrete roads. So it's all, you got winter time, like snow and ice and shit you're dealing with, and all sorts of shit, and mud and bog holes and all sorts, with massive columns on the back or tiles like we were talking. And you, like, so it takes him a week to get there, and it's like then he unloads, and then he's got to take him a week to get back, and then he reloads, and then it's a week to get back. So in a month he gets 2 deliveries of like stuff all, like on a horse and buggy, like stuff all. Not going to get very many anything's on a horse and cart. Oh, look at it. Look at it. Yeah. Build something like this in the 1800s. Horse and buggy. Kidding me? This place is cooked. I won't go into it, but oh, you got the bricks. Bricks here, like you can see it's all brick, but it's all out of colour and all whacked to it. All these have been all misshaped to rock. That should be all brick still, and all this should be brick still. It's all, see, it's all puffy and stuff. But anyway, just showing the old world for now, because it's just like you gotta start to think about this old world stuff. Like it's not just some. We're not making up stories. We're going off some some research. You got to make it make sense. Where did these buildings come from? How did they do them with horse and buggy? How did they get the bearing done for the buggy? How did they make the pickaxe to do the mining? Where did the steel come from? What came first, the pickaxe or the mine? You gotta weigh it up, because you can't mine for steel without steel. So how did they start it? How did they first start ever mining? Well, it has to be. Well, they dug with bones. Like, are you kidding me? You're gonna do a massive mine, enough to get enough steel to start making some machinery or some whatever. And but once you've got all the materials, you need the foundry, and you need a thicker steel. That stuff takes like a long time to figure out what goes with what to make this tougher steel. And it just doesn't even work. It proves like it was all here when we were created. This place was a creation. We were put here into this kingdom, and there was this stuff everywhere: star forts and castles and fortresses and palaces and all the old world stuff. And it was just majestic, epic. This place is epic, because this is just what you see, like mountains and melted buildings, and they were all like this. Like, imagine how big some of them were. Like, they were 5 kilometre tall buildings. Like, the whole thing wasn't building, but it was all structure. Like, it had buildings all over it, but it was all structure. It's all terraced, and the whole mountain was created, was built, constructed. But it wasn't physically constructed by man. It was spiritually created by gods and goddesses. Or at least one creator, our creator. Because we've been created, that's for sure, and we've got a creator. But I'm pretty sure this place is a manifestation of all of ours. I'm pretty sure once we figured out that we were also gods and goddesses, even like we got created in God's image, didn't we? That's what they say. And so, like, see this. Like, this is all building and all building and all building and all building, and all this though is all building still. Like, and all this, that's all melted. Like, that's turned that way. Like, it should be all this would be layered. It'd have layers under it and layers under it and layers under it. You can't see it because of all the trees over it, all the shrubbery, but it's like it would be layered. Each bit, all this would be layered. It'd have a layer across there, and then a layer across there, and then a layer across there. And like, I've got another video where I show Jerusalem, and it shows, like, on Google Earth, it shows the whole joint is terraced out like crazy. The whole world was like that, like, before it melted. And the timber work, like, look at this timber work. Like, they were in the 1800s. They were building timber shacks and stuff, weren't they? Isn't that what they tell us? The gold mining stuff and all these gold mining towns is all like just timber shacks and tin roofs and stuff. But still, just to build them, where did they get where did they mill the timber from? Where did they get the corrugated iron from? Like, just to have corrugated iron, you need steel. So it gets back to it again. Like, where did the steel come from? To do all this tin? All this corrugated iron and guttering and stuff. And like, it doesn't end. It doesn't end of things. Like, once you start to think, and then you're like, well, what about this? And then what about this? And it just doesn't. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible that they did all this stuff in the 1800s. Like, it was done beforehand, which makes it sound even more. You're like, how could they have done it before? It's even harder. But this was, if it wasn't manifested, this was built with advanced technology, like technology we don't even have in this day. Advanced. Like, this stuff was advanced. Some of it's that perfect that if it wasn't manifested, it's almost 3D printed. A lot of it. Like, it had to have been 3D printed or something. It's to perfection. Like, and these buildings just don't end. Like, and I've got another whole folder of them, and like, this is just what I found. Just bang, 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 bang. Just found it real quick, and I wasn't even looking for it, but they just came. And once I started saving, it was like next photo, yeah, another one, next photo, another one, next photo, another one, and they just kept coming. It was like it knew what I was doing, and algorithms just helped me get more and more, and it's just like that. Look at it. Like you see all this, and you're like, no way, is that old? It was all black and white back then, but no, like, the colour was everywhere. Some of the temples and stuff you see, there's all different colours all over them, and all different. Oh, it's unbelievable. And all the gardens were done as well, and that's all part of it. It was all done at the same time, and it's it's nuts. It's just absolutely nuts. Like, look at this, just these walls and stuff. Just to build that is a big, massive feat. That's a challenge to do in the 1800s with horse and buggy. It's not a challenge. It's impossible, because where'd the buggy come from? Where did the wheels come from? Where did, like, think about it. I've got to keep saying it, because like, people don't listen. Like, don't comprehend what I'm trying to say, and like, you're spending more time trying to prove that I'm wrong rather than just to listen to what I say, and actually listen to what I say and then use your own head about it. Like, you don't. If you spend all your time just trying to prove me wrong, like, you're never going to see it. You're never going to see this world for what it is, and it's amazing. Like, this joint's all cooked out, but imagine it in its heyday. It would have been a pretty fancy joint, but it's all cooked out. Like, what else? What else has caused all this damage? It's cooked out a whole lot, and now it's all overgrown. All these gardens would have been all prim and proper, and everything would have been in its place, just like all those other places, and even all here, and all of it, all would have been perfect, and all this was all perfect. It's cooked. It's made it go all weird colour, and it's like, place looks. It won't have water anymore and power. That's why they've just left it abandoned. So it sat there for the last 200 to 300 years, just with no one there. And if you went there, and you could claim it, but it won't have running water. So every time you get water, you got to go all the way down to this dam and get water out of there, or you dig a big bore down here. But you'd need to go so deep, it's not funny. Well, unless you could find the water that'd be under there somewhere, it would have got blocked off with the melt, because there'd be a natural aquifer system. I'll do another video on that one day, but it's just, these buildings just end, and they're just massive, and they're intricately detailed, and they're phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I don't know what else to say, other than think about what I said. If you haven't ever thought about it, it's time to think about it. Now you've watched. If you've watched this far and you've watched it, then you've got a question now. You don't have a choice, because otherwise you're going to be living in a delusional state by choice. You have a choice to get out of it now, to think your way out and get true and get real, and if you choose not to, then you're choosing to be delusional. And that, because if you're believing in illusions, like, the whole history is an illusion, the globe earth is illusion, it's all illusions. And if you're going to continue to believe in illusions, even though you've got someone pointing out the truth to you, and I'm not telling you to believe me, I'm telling you to do your own research and think for yourself. Don't just believe what I say. Do your own research. Just start with your own city and start looking around, and you will notice old world buildings and stuff everywhere. And then start looking them up and go, when was this one built? And it'll be 1800s, and then be like, well, how'd they get that building and this building and this building? Eventually, once you do 2 years of research, that's the thing. I'm short tracking you. If you do, and it's because I've been short track, because I've watched other people that have showed me their 3 years of research, and they've shown it all in a quick video, and so that's fast tracking me, and hopefully now I'm fast tracking you, and if we all fast track each other, then we can get hundreds of years worth of research all out in a few years, and we nail this stuff. We get the world seeing this. Once the world sees this old world, the history is a full lie, and then they see globe Earth's a full lie. It's like, well, what else do they lie about? And then you start realising they lie about everything. Everything. It's all lies. Here you go. Here's a horse and buggy. Look at the size of this joint, and look at the buggy. And yeah, see the axles. It's got axles. Axles. It's got a hub there. Nice shiny hub. These are new ones because they're not even timber, they're steel, but they could be timber, I guess, but I'm thinking they're steel. But still, they would have had to have a hub like this because there's a wheel bearing inside there, and then it connects to this axle. So how did they create that axle and the hub for the wheel and the inside, and how did they create all that? How? You need presses to make bearings. You need all of it. I can keep going over and over this stuff. It's not gonna matter. You're either gonna think about this stuff or you're not. But if you choose not to, then you're choosing to stay delusional, and that's a problem. It's a human condition. Because of the schooling system has taught everyone to be delusional, and it's worked, and it's crazy how hard it is to get through this. I don't know what to really do. Do all this and do all that, and you just don't want to listen. It doesn't matter what we say, it doesn't matter what we do. You just don't want to listen, but you think you know it all. And you don't even know what you think you know. You haven't even looked into that. Haven't even looked into the proper narratives at all either. You just know what you knew from school, and maybe what you've learned a little bit along the way, and that's it. And you've never actually researched none of it to actually know the true story. There's all your colour. It's all colourful. It was just different places, different things. But it's this stuff is everywhere. Here's your tiers. You got a level down here, and a level here, and a level here, then a level here. And this will have tunnels and stuff that goes underneath, and because down there's already one, but this is all buildings, so there'll be all sorts of stuff under here. Who knows what, but. Then you've got the temples. Temples are off their head, intricate. Just star forts are precision. To build a star fort, if you haven't seen star forts, you got to look up star forts. Just do your own research. Start looking them up. Just type into Google star forts. They come up. You might not find all of them, but you'll find a heap of them. And then just keep looking. Different browsers and stuff, go through my videos, find my Star Fort video, watch that. It's stuff's nuts. You got all this all over the world, and you got all the Star Forts, and there's thousands of Star Forts, and they're more intricate than a pyramid. Pyramids are nothing. Pyramids are basic, even though they're 8-sided and not 4-sided. They've got a concave face. Goes inward, not concave, but it's goes inward slightly. The pyramids of Giza are 8-sided. Each face has 2 sides. But anyway, it's just I don't know when these are going to end. It's gone for 44 minutes, but I'm just really trying to get this old world stuff through your head, because it really this is what it is. This proves that it was all here before the 1800s. All of it. It was all like it. It has to have been. There is no way they could have produced this much stuff in the 1800s. And who are the builders? Where have they gone? How come they can't build buildings like this anymore? Like how come like the stuff they build now is absolute pathetic. Pathetic. Glass concrete boxes, all concrete panelings and stuff. Like, and it's like you'd think this is all concrete panels because it's all concrete. Like, but it's not. This I don't even know how they manifested it. Like it's because it's all one piece. It's amazing. Oh, there's no joins and stuff, and it's not rendered by hand. It's like full on perfection facading, inch thick, all the way over it. It's perfection. I don't know how they managed to do it. Like, it's manifestation, so it's not done physically, but it's just done. Don't exactly know. Like it's a thought, comes from a thought first, but whether we had quantum computers or something, I'm not real sure how it's done, but has to be a creation. It has to be a manifestation. There's just too much. Like I could go through and go to temples and then star forts, and I could just show you more and more old world, but it's already gone for 46 minutes, and well, most people won't keep watching. So like I'll stop this one now, and I'll just do other videos, and that way you can look them up and stuff, but go through my other ones already. Like I've got heaps on the mount, and I've got one on the Star Force at least, and I've got I don't know what's there anymore. Can't remember, but 100 videos or something though. So anyway, enjoy. Yeah, have fun. Much love.